What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T-Word, the People's Champ. Thank you for tapping in. Today, we're going to talk about Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford, and BOK Prime in the recent negotiations that have taken place that recently have come to light. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. Thanks for joining. So, on Sunday, which was March 5th, news leaked that Jaron Ennis and his team, aka his father, Bozy Ennis, were contacted by BOK Prime with an offer to try and negotiate a fight with Terence Bud Crawford. Now, before all of the details of the news broke, there was a lot of conversation about whether or not this indicated that there was a duck or avoidance that occurred by Jaron Ennis. But now, with further information being released, we understand that some actual legitimate negotiations took place. So initially, the conversation stated was that Jaron Ennis had been saying for months that Terence Crawford's team never offered him an opportunity to fight him for the WBO belt. And many people believe that it was because Jaron Ennis had indicated that he had intentions of pursuing the IBF title route, which would put him in line with facing Errol Spence instead of Terence Crawford. Now, I'm including audio of Jaron Ennis' father explaining exactly what happened. And then you'll also hear Blue Blood Sports TV explain some additional details that aren't explained in the Bozy Ennis video.
Cussing, you know what I mean? Just like Terence Crawford told somebody, said, only way I fight him if he call me out and he call me a pussy or he call me a mother or something like. We don't even talk like that.
Yes,
you know what I mean? He said that's the only way he would fight Boots. If he's called, you know what I mean? We don't. That means you really don't want to fight, Terence. You know what I mean? Don't use that for an excuse. Don't use that for an excuse because everybody else you fight, they wouldn't calling you all kinds of names, but you fought them. You know what I mean? We was trying to set up a fight with him last month because BLK people called us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I said, yeah, we'll take him in a heartbeat, just like that, right? And they said, all right, let's sit down and talk. I said, you got to talk to my people first, though. Showtime. Yes, sir. Showtime, because they trying to be slick, trying to get me to do it on my own without Showtime. I don't do that. Mm-hmm. See, I'm loyal to Showtime because I'm going to tell y'all, I never signed nothing with Showtime. I never signed, and my word is my bond. 3-fight deal, and whatever he said, we do it. You know what I mean? Yes, a lot of people want Boots.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
A lot.
Yeah, from the zone, Top Rank, all of them want Boots. And they send a contract to me, and I show them, look at the money, this is good money. But when I tell somebody something, I'm loyal to them, man. They treat me good. When somebody treat me good, I'm gonna treat them good. Everybody try to pull me away from these people treat me and Boots real good. You know what I mean? Ain't too many people do me and Boots do. You know what I mean? And he found out that, I'm not one of them guys that you can just say anything to and tell me to do this and tell me to do that. No, we talking together. You got to agree on certain things that I want, and I agree on certain things that you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. You just don't take over. See? And that's what I like about Stephen Espinosa.
Let's see if Terence Crawford is open to fighting Jaron Boots Ennis. Terence Crawford said that he's more than willing to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. He actually stated that I'm not worrying about Jaron Boots Ennis because he ain't never been in the ring with somebody like me. So if we can set it up, set it up. That's what Terence Bud Crawford stated, right? So I reached out to Bozy Ennis that night. Bozy Ennis said they would be willing to fight Terence Bud Crawford. Okay? He said, we'll be willing to fight Terence Bud Crawford in a heartbeat. That's exactly what he said. So I set the meeting up for my partners at BOK Prime. Also, Zab Judah was on the phone. We set everything up, the meeting up. And then from there, there was a big meeting between Stephen Espinosa and BOK Prime.
Okay, now that you've heard all the clips, let's go ahead and break some of this down. So Bozy dropped a few jewels and dropped some information that many people may not have been aware of. And I want to unpack some of it by first talking about his statement that he doesn't have a contract with Showtime. Now, my understanding of that is that maybe he doesn't have something specific as far as him being able to take his different fighters, because if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't just handle business for Boots Ennis, he also handles business for other fighters. He's got other people. So Bozy himself as a manager and trainer may not have a Showtime contract for his entire stable, but I believe that Jaron Ennis has a contract of his own, a multi-fight deal with Showtime. So I think that distinction should be unpacked and processed, because it could be a little bit of a play on words. Not saying he was intentionally deceptive there, just saying that both things could be true. Jaron Ennis could have a contract and Bozy Ennis could also not have a contract. But he has chosen to deal with them as his business partner, something that he mentioned was part of his loyalty to them, because they've already been in business and basically they have verbal agreements. Additionally, he states that they wanted to fight Terence Crawford. They actually were contacted by BOK, and they were ready to go. Legitimate interest in getting that fight on the road. So it doesn't sound like to me there was any avoidance from either side. In the next clip, you heard Blue Blood Sports TV explain that he brokered a meeting or a connection from BOK to Bozy Ennis. And the way that he explained it is he's saying BOK was looking for another fight that they could offer to Terence Crawford, and they brought up the name Jaron Ennis. They threw the idea his way. He said yes, he'd like to fight him. He has no fear of getting in the ring with him, which we expect. So then Blue Blood used that information to go and contact Bozy Ennis, who expressed the same thing. Yeah, we'll fight Terence Crawford. Let's do it. But I'm going to need to get Showtime in the mix. So when BOK comes to the table, obviously Showtime comes to the table, and a deal has to be made. So according to Blue Blood, as you heard in the clip, there was a 1-hour meeting between BOK, Bozy Ennis, and Showtime. Now, though Blue Blood is privy to that information, he didn't share, but he did state that they had a talk for an hour, and that was that. So it sounds like all the parties got in the room. So what this sounds like to me is that the door isn't closed for a fight, but then I listened to a live stream from YSM Sports Media, and Jamil states that the reason that the fight with Boots and Crawford likely didn't get brokered is because there's also negotiations in the background between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Now, as a priority, there's a unification for Undisputed is going to take priority over just a random fight. And then Crawford also has a mandatory coming up. So any fight with Boots Ennis will have to be delayed anyway after Terence Crawford will fight out Alexis Rocha. So the only thing that can stop the mandatories for Spence and Crawford is if they fight each other. So it makes sense that they will be negotiating, and this is happening in the background. So I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out and how valid that information is. YSM Sports Media has been very reliable as a source. He's very hesitant to put out information until he can get a confirmation and the green light from all parties involved. So I tend to believe that if he stated there's negotiations going on, and that's why Jaron Ennis isn't fighting Terence Crawford yet, I tend to believe that he's being very honest and upfront and very forthcoming. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days, because the last information that we received from Terence Crawford's side is that the WBO ordered his mandatory fight with Alexis Rocha to be signed within 20 days or go to purse bid. And that was about 6 days ago. So that means he has about 14 days to get a deal done and sealed with Errol Spence, and then set a date. According to YSM, we could potentially see that fight in June. So now June 17th for Jamal Charlo's return could be on the undercard of Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, or some type of co-main. So that could be a pretty exciting night of boxing. Wouldn't be mad if they could also get Jamal Charlo on there and make it a really loaded pay-per-view card. That sounds like $100 card to me. So you've got Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. You've got Jamal Charlo, potentially Daniel Jacobs. And then Jamal Charlo could potentially fight anybody. Just get back in the ring and get the scrap on. That would be pretty awesome and amazing to see. So stay tuned for more. This is a developing situation, so we don't want to seal up anything. Those clips were directly from an interview on YouTube, as well as Blue Blood himself. So free use on those. But hopefully this has been informative as well as entertaining, and I hope that you'll come back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been T-Word, the People's Champ. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.